He has the most advanced systems ever created. A perfect robot.
Your boy?
Yes, sir.
Astro Boy.
That is not how the theme song goes.
Astro Boy. Astro Boy. You know his name is Astro Boy.
Good Lord. It's a bunch of kids singing Astro Boy, da da da.
Well, that's lame.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking.
Yeah,
what is
I
it,
know.
Japanese or something? Fuck that.
That's only cool when they're calling Gamera.
What are you guys doing reviewing anime? Isn't that like verboten in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Code or Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen Code?
Well, funny enough, with this new Astro Boy movie, they have pretty much stripped all the anime elements out of it.
Yeah, they really do suck it all out of it, and I, for one, couldn't be more grateful.
I gotta say, man, I mean, you know, as anime goes, this is like the old school anime back when I liked it. When I watched this cartoon as a kid growing up in DC. You know, it was one of the ones like Gigantor and Speed Racer.
Gigantor.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah. See, now you're speaking my fucking language.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
this is
I used to
often-
imagine myself as Astro Boy walking down the hall, making those sounds with my feet like he did, and they did like a revamped Saturday morning cartoon, a few years ago, which I thought was decent, but they only ran it. Fox Kids ran it for like a half a season or whatever. But with this, I'm like, all right, these guys probably don't give a shit about Astro Boy. It's going to be another underdog where it's like, hey, we got the license, but we'll do whatever we want. Not only is this faithful, although they take out all the Japanese elements, but it's really good and really dark. And it's one of the few kids' cartoons that delves into hard science fiction. I mean, usually kids will get space opera and science fantasy, but not real science fiction.
Well, it's funny, like the darker elements of this film are all from the very original version of this. You know, I mean, the whole idea, like, here's a guy, a father who's a big scientist, played here by Nicolas Cage. I know you're all sick.
I know
of
you
Nicolas Cage,
groan when
but-
you hear that word Nicolas Cage, but he does a really good job.
But this is voiceover, so he's not worried about his hair.
Exactly. He's got a whole wardrobe of that stuff. He doesn't have to worry about it. It's all insured. But
I get to be in another superhero movie.
But he's a super scientist who has developed, along with some other scientists, a form of super powerful energy, this blue energy. Unfortunately, when you use it, it also creates this sort of negative red energy.
Yeah.
You can see where
I think they pulled it from a star. It's like a red star.
Yeah,
and
you can see where this is going to end up going at some point. But regardless...
Not someplace good.
There's a military general voiced by Donald Sutherland shows up.
Well, he's the president.
Oh, is he that's right. He's the president.
Yeah.
Shows up. He plays it like a evil general in every other movie, right? Even though this guy is clearly like this movie was obviously made before when they weren't sure who was going to win this presidential election because he's John McCain clearly.
Readings for the core off the chart.
My army could use a robot like that. Mobilize all units. I want that thing now.
I was thinking he was Bush, but you're right. He probably gets more McClane.
There's a lot of
McCain, not John McClane.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think John McClane would have had any trouble getting elected president. It's like, what's your resume? Well, I saved a building from terrorism. I saved an airport from terrorism. I saved New York City from terrorism. And I even once drove a car through a helicopter. You're hired.
Yeah. What's your platform? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
But the thing is, it's like, you know...
So they're trying to make it timely on some level. But either way, Donald Sutherland as the president, who is quickly running out of fans and office time, decides to put the red negative energy with the scientists warn him against into this giant war robot, which immediately goes completely crazy and accidentally kills his son.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't so much kill him as he evaporates him.
Yeah, he just disintegrates
he turns him into like a black grease spot right there in front of everybody.
Which you're watching this and being used to animated films going, okay, so how does he survive?
Yeah.
Well, we're not spoiling anything because this is very early in the film. He doesn't.
Yes.
He is a grease spot. As you said.
Yeah, and his father suffers, a serious nervous breakdown guilt and decides, hey, I'm a scientist. I'll just use this blue energy and build a robot version of my son. I mean, it's basically, this movie is kind of like, it's Pinocchio meets Superboy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And usually when I hear Pinocchio mixed with sci-fi, I get those AI douche chills. This is way better than AI.
Yeah, I actually liked AI, but I understand what you say when you say that you don't.
AI douche chills. I think I ordered that at the bar once.
They're going to serve them in
made
test
by
tubes.
the Zima company, right?
But so he builds this robot boy, and who has all the memories thanks to DNA. Okay, we'll just let that go.
Well, it's DNA and super science.
Yeah.
It's science to a level like we can't understand.
It's blue energy, red energy, and a robot boy. You really want some consistency there as far as logic goes?
No, fair enough. And then they start believing in God. I was like, oh. No, sorry, that was just, never mind. But, so the boy comes out and he's like, he's got his powers built in because his dad wants to make sure he can never die again, so he builds him with all this defensive weaponry in him. He can fly, all that stuff, but the boy doesn't know all this stuff at first. He just thinks he is this kid. However, he's not, and that becomes clear pretty quickly that even though he's very similar and has all his memories, he differs in slight ways, and it starts becoming bigger ways as time goes on. And the really downer part of this is that the dad just says, "Get the fuck out."
I know. I know. That's what's like. It's not dark enough that the kid dies, but then he comes to the robot boy who we've accepted, and it's like clearly he's a sentient being.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just remind me that my son's not here anymore, and I'm going to turn you off.
Yeah.
Or you got to go.
Yeah. He wants to turn him off and disintegrate the parts, and it's like,
wow. It's like Jesus.
Well, needless to say, it would be a short film if he didn't, and Astro Boy gets away after being chased by the president's military drones and falls to the planet below, the planet Earth below, which has pretty much become a dumping ground. The city they live in floats in the clouds where the rich and powerful live, and Astro Boy has to make his way among the droogs on the planet below.
Pretty much, and kind of falls in with kind of an Oliver Twist type crowd. It's that whole land of what is that in Pinocchio with the land of
broken toys?
No, not the land of broken toys. It's just where all the kids go to just have fun all day long.
Yeah,
where they all end up turning into donkeys because it's that whole thing of like, it looks like fun at first, but there's a price to pay for this.
Yeah, and here it's not that. There's no magic or anything. They're being sent out by Nathan Lane, who plays kind of a shady guy, shyster robot repair guy.
He's the guy. He's Fagin. He's like, hey, you guys are a bunch of orphans, but hang out with me and we'll have fun and we'll do things.
Okay, is anyone else out there not uncomfortable with the idea of Nathan Lane taking in little orphan boys?
Wait, are you saying that like because he's gay he would molest children?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that.
Totally put him on the spot. I'm sorry. I totally put you on the spot.
He's Nathan Lane.
Queen,
come here, little boy.
I'm so sorry. I put you in I put baby in a corner. I'm sorry.
No one puts baby in the corner.
But without revealing too much more of the plot, the movie has plenty of pathos. It's fun. It's a well written script, and the action kicks ass when it wants to.
Yeah, it really does. What really sold this to me, though, with the flying sequences.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
Are gorgeous. I mean, they really transfer the excitement that he feels when he realizes he can fly. And every time he flies in this movie, he is getting off on it as surely as you or I or anyone would who just learned how to. It's exciting watching him, just going loop-to-loops and flying through the clouds and going super fast. It's really cool.
I think a lot of what makes this movie work or fun to watch is like the kid, the robot, he has kind of a shitty life, and yet he keeps his chin up through most of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not keeping like a SpongeBob, hey, everything's great attitude, but he's really trying to make the best of it the entire time and be a good person.
Yeah, it would be funny to see what happened if they got in there and flipped the switch to pessimist. Oops, I accidentally left it on glasses half full.
Donald Sutherland's very funny as much as he is evil.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, one of his best performances. Like, it seems like we've been waiting. Like, it used to be like a one good Nicolas Cage movie, one bad, and he just went bad for a long time.
It's been like 5-1 lately.
Yeah, so it's good to have a good Nicolas Cage performance. But overall, this movie was such a surprise that it was so fun to watch.
It's odd that I remember about halfway through this film I'm thinking, this really isn't all that funny. And it's not really, but it's not really trying to be.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be.
It is a superhero movie.
Yeah, it totally is.
And it completely works on that level. I mean, it's exciting, it's fun, it's got good characters, it's got moments that you really have no idea what's going to happen, He's a robot. He very well It's fun and good voices all around. Kristen Bell plays one of the people he befriends on the planet.
Yes, Freddie Highmore as Astro Boy, right?
Yes, exactly. From Willie.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Spiderwick Chronicles.
Samuel Jackson plays Zog, a giant robot that they help
that was
rebuild.
Samuel Jackson?
That was Samuel Jackson.
Oh, funny.
Bill Nighy is in here. Eugene Levy. I mean, come on. This is Matt Lucas.
That's the thing. It's like Astro Boy is so iconic and like being shirtless with just those little trunks on and the boots. They only show him like that once in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like somebody said like, all right, we'll get it in there because you guys need it. But other than that,
it's not like he didn't have nipples. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you look at him and he's a robot boy. You think that one of the first things he would have noticed after he was brought back and told, no, you're still the boy, when he went to bed, you go, oh, Jesus! I have no nipples!
A friend of mine saw this a while back, and his complaint was that it was too much of an origin story, and that it didn't feel like an Astro Boy story until the last minute or so when he, flies up.
Honestly, you know what? I had that concern for a little while. I thought because it was so detailed about the origin. I just like about halfway through, I was like, man, this is going to kind of die if this is all it is. But once he gets to the surface, it really takes off on its own. And so you really have a complete story. It's like there's so many superhero stories you watch that aren't as complete as this is.
Yeah, I agree. There was a point that I was going, okay, is this going to get to the part where he's a superhero? But once it does, you're actually glad that you had all that stuff before. Yeah. You're glad that it built him up, and we are concerned for him. We genuinely like this robot boy and his new friends. I mean, we want to see what happened. We're concerned for what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these movies that I left going like, man, I really, really hope they make a sequel.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of good movies all the time, but I often think, I go like, well, that was good for what it was, and I hope they don't fuck it up. But here I was like, please, one more.
What it sounded like to me, the way it was described, was it sounded more like the Invincibles ending.
Or the Incredibles. Yeah,
Incredibles,
it is.
Yeah.
It is like the Incredibles ending.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I thought
Where it's like where it takes the whole movie to get around to essentially making them the Fantastic Four, and then it's like, ba-da!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. Although I am not gonna accuse this film of being as good as The Incredibles.
No, of course
because
not.
it's not. But it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and was just a solid, about an hour and a half entertainment. This is actually a full price for me.
I'm glad to hear you say that because I thought that myself. I mean, sure, we've been hit with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's not that, but it's still really good. And I got no complaints about it. As a matter of fact, I've been waiting for a movie to come for the D-Box theater that I could watch. And, they keep getting things in there like Final Destination 6. I'm like,
you don't care.
Yeah, I'm not paying $16 for
Final
that.
Destination fucking blow me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that one sounds good.
But this...
Not in D-Box. Trust me.
Yeah, good point.
But, those flying sequences you mentioned, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I would like to go see that in the D-Box.
So you give it not only a full price, but full price plus $9.
I guess I am.
You have to see it with the D-Box.
With the D-Box, yeah. Hey, if you got D-Box in your town, if you're cool as our town, which I doubt.
Which is not likely.
Yeah,
indeed.
But by all means.
Wow. It's funny. I wanted to point out here before we wrap this up that I do not, in fact, hate anime. Before 80 billion people
so fucking
yes,
hate anime.
It's just become...
once the microphone comes on, I don't hate anime. You turn off those fucking kids and their goddamn fucking cartoons. I don't get it. Cartoons are for Saturday morning, assholes. We're reviewers. We're critics.
See, now I know where all this is coming from. I'm going to have to actually start listening to goddamn Coco to find where you're calling me out on this stuff. Not
don't
true.
know what you're talking about.
I just haven't seen it.
I would never do anything like that to up the listenership.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Coco.
I don't hate anime. I just don't watch it.
Well,
I have nothing against black people. I just don't want to marry my daughter.
That's the story of Astro Boy.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.
I got machine guns in my butt.